but it's we get ready to go here.
We're just about ready. This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net. And it's Wednesday, not Tuesday, but it's time for What in the World with.
Paul Seaburn, that's me. Hi, Karen.
Hey,
Yes,
how
it
are
is
you?
Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes, it
Why
is.
why is it Wednesday?
Because yesterday was Tuesday.
Of course. How silly of me. The kids, the kids these days hide all the calendars because they do all this stuff on their phones. So I never know what day it is. But I did that. I didn't know what day it was when we use calendars. So that's
Oh,
just anyway. How did we get on this subject? Yes, it is Wednesday. We were off yesterday. It's time for What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news show. Our motto is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. We run the gamut from weird to strange to paranormal to sports, which brings me to John Donalo down there on the screen. Hi, John.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Karen. Hi, everyone.
hey, how are
John
you?
is our co-host, color commentator, and What in the World of Sports host. So we are what in the world of that? That's it. That's what it's called. What in the world of sports? I need to write this stuff down or show up a rehearsal once in a while. But
Yeah, come to rehearsal.
First will be better, Paul.
I'm sorry, I missed again. The days have me screwed up here. It's such a beautiful day in Northeast Ohio.
Yes, it is.
Nice, almost fall, but still warm enough day. So I hope it's that way wherever you are. We're into to all of our regulars. I want to do a shout out to all of our regulars since we weren't live last week. To Steeler Girl and Tex Chick, I know they were disappointed, and he may be watching. Don T, my buddy from Florida, who's been on the show with all of us. He's passed through town. Shared with me a Bigfoot experience he had in Washington State, but no video. So what can I say? But it's always fun to see him. Also, Bill Z, who was on the show. I don't know if he's watching. He's a practitioner of the foot arts. So you can figure out what that is.
A podiatrist.
There you go. That's what he is. Very busy man these days. So I don't know if he's watching. He may down. Oh, and also Mark B down in Austin, Texas, old buddy of mine. So Mark is always sending compliments to the show on how much he enjoyed it. So thank you, Mark. Your encouragement is always welcome. So let's get right to it, because this was another one of those weeks, and a week plus one, since we're here on Wednesday, of all kind of weird stuff. John, I've got a talking duck for you from Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, a giant blob crawling out of a garbage bin in New Orleans. Karen, a skunk that does handstands. John, a headless Bigfoot in Utah with photos.
Oh,
Silver
good.
jackalopes. Let's see. The benefits of mumbling. I guess that's for me. The world's largest flying tush. So make
What?
You heard it, Karen.
Okay,
Flying
I heard
tush.
it.
Can we say tush on the air?
Sure, you can say tush on the air.
We can say, okay. Also, weird world records, more odd news. We've got stuff from around the galaxy, trivia, strange sports, you name it. No politics, no bad news, no business, none of that stuff that makes you depressed. Just fun, weird stuff. If you don't like what we're talking about, wait 2 minutes. We'll change the subject, and I guarantee you'll get something out of the show.
But you forgot one big piece of news.
Oh, I did. What was that?
Isn't it Donna's birthday?
That was that was let me think. That was Labor Day. The lovely Donna. I'm not supposed to say.
We should wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Donna. That's
Happy
the
birthday,
lovely Donna.
Many more.
My lovely spouse, yes, puts up with the podcast once a week, and me preparing for it, and me digging up all these stories all week long. So I can't ask for a better person to put up with me. How's that? Boy, how romantic is that?
Yeah, that is.
Touching.
No, thanks, John. Let's get right to it here and get out of this. So let me get my since you pointed out that Labor Day was the lovely Donna's birthday, today is a special day as well, and I bet you don't know what today is. And I'm going to bring up a screen over here while we're talking about this to give you a hint. Let's see. No, that's not it. Let's see. Where's my little arrow? There we go. Nope, that's not it. Okay. We all know what that symbol is.
And what?
Karen's in a mood today. Okay. That's the ampersand. Today is National Ampersand Day to celebrate everybody's favorite curly punctuation mark that no one can draw correctly. How about that? Boy, I bet you didn't know that. Every September 8th. The ampersand was invented in the 1st century AD. Where's my trivia horn here to let you know. It's a Latin character. It's a combination of the Latin words, Latin letters E and T for et, which is the Latin word for and. And the Latin forms of E and T, they smooshed together so you could draw them with one swish of the hand, if you remember cursive writing, and it became the ampersand. The word comes from, and this, I need to read this one. It's the, it means and. No, I said that. It's it means let's see, ampersand and per se and something like that. Well, I thought I wrote that part down. Okay, here's the best part though. The best part, the reason why they know it dates back to the 1st century is because they found graffiti on a wall in Pompeii, the city that was destroyed by Mount Vesuvius. So as they're excavating, they find graffiti on the wall of a restroom. And I happen to have the actual graffiti that uses the ampersand. So here it comes. You can just use your imagination where the ampersand is in here. The graffiti on the restroom wall said in what was the name of it? Pompeii, 79 AD. Get ready. For a good time, slice of pizza blocked at VVIDDCLL. Those are Roman numerals. Okay, so we'll end. I was so proud of that joke. We're going to edit that one right out.
I think so.
Let's move right on to something everybody can relate to, and that's Ronald McDonald. Now, there's this character. If you go now, I'm a little too old to remember all of the various characters in Ronald McDonald. One of them was called Grimace, and that's this creature right here. Karen or John, do you remember this creature at all?
I remember the Grimace. Yes, I do.
Yeah, he looks like something out of the Barney cartoons, but
yep, he does.
Yeah, he really
big
does.
furry, purple furry thing. He originally, no one knows what he is. That's the story that came out this week. So a McDonald's manager from Canada spilled the beans. They're supposed to swear to secrecy, and he said, "Get ready for this." That Grimace is an enormous taste bud, and he's supposed to signify how good McDonald's hamburgers taste. Yeah, I would put up a picture of a taste bud, but you don't want to see it.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, no thanks.
I said this is a scary thing. This is the kind of thing that scares it. They bring him in to scare the little kids so that they don't pee in the ball pit.
Oh, that's probably true. Yep.
Yeah. Really, if I see it, I would pee in the ball pit. But so with my little bit of trivia, since I'm bringing up Grimace here. Grimace was originally announced in 1970 when McDonald's came out with all the original characters, and I've got a picture of all of them here. I don't know who all these are.
One of Hamburglar,
Officer Big Mac, the Hamburglar, Mayor McCheese is in there somewhere. The Mad Professor, I don't even remember him. Captain Crook, they dumped him easily, and Ronald McDonald in the middle. Mm-hmm. So, but this isn't the original Grimace. The original Grimace, now this one is a friend of Ronald. The original Grimace was evil. And if you dig hard enough, you can find he has 4 arms, 2 legs. He steals milkshakes, obviously, and he picks on Ronald. So apparently that scared the kids too much. So they turned him into this big, lovable purple thing.
Okay.
And Grimace, why they came up with the name Grimace, I don't know. Okay, so let's move on to something a little more fun here. If you're looking for a job, everybody's looking for a job. We try to help them out. And you're in Florida. the Weeki Springs State Park. And we have talked about this place. They're holding auditions for mermaids. I think I have a picture, you know, if we're talking mermaids, I have to, oh, there's the ad for the mermaid audition. Saturday, October 2nd at 10 a.m. If you want to be a mermaid, you show up at the mermaid auditions at the state park. You have to pass an endurance swimming test. You have to go to through 1.5 to 2 hours worth of interviews. How many questions do you ask somebody about being a mermaid? That's I don't understand that. And no walk-ups are accepted, so you have to make your reservations in advance.
They have to swim in, not walk in.
They have to flop. Yeah, they have to flop. But pay is $13 an hour, which doesn't sound like much, but you get a lot of tips, according to the veterans. If you go up to guys and you tell them they look like Tom Hanks, they love that. John, you remember what movie I'm referencing there?
Oh, no, I don't. No, I
Man,
don't.
I'm striking. But John obviously celebrated too much over Labor Day, so he's still trying to get back into the swing of things. That was the Daryl Hannah, Tom Hanks movie about mermaids called Splash.
Right. Now I remember that now.
Yeah, I knew you would. And if you forgot what mermaids look like, I believe I have one of the lovely mermaids from the Weeki with her little oxygen thing there. But that's a very realistic looking tale. I would
say so.
Yeah.
And if you go down there, if you're a guy, don't get in line, because they've already proven that they don't want any mermen. And you know why they don't want mermen? Because as soon as they hit the water, that cold water, their tails shrink.
Oh.
You don't want that. All right. So if you're looking for a job and you're not a mermaid, or you're a guy, if you can do a witch impression, I got another job for you. This one comes from Cornwall. This is for Tex Chick and her high maintenance import husband, who is from Cornwall. A hotel in Cornwall by the name of the Headland Hotel is looking for a Grand High Witch. Grand High Witch. Now, why would they look for specifically a Grand High Witch? Because of another movie, a movie called The Witches, which is based on a Roald, I believe is how his name is pronounced, Dahl novel called The Witches. He's the guy that did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which became Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So they're looking for a Grand High Witch to have tea with the guest between now and Halloween. Sounds like a lot of fun. I think I have a promo for the movie, in case you haven't seen it. Here it is, The Witches, starring the wonderful Angelica Houston as the Grand High Witch. Also, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, is over there down in the corner. He played the hotel manager, Mr. Stringer. And at the time of this movie, Angelica Houston was dating Jack Nicholson. And Jack Nicholson used to stay in Cornwall at the Headland Hotel, and he loved it. So he told her, you got to do a movie here. So they came up with this particular movie, and it's set at the Headland Hotel. So that's link number one. Number two, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, stayed there while they were shooting the movie, and he stayed in one of the upper floors. And one day he was, as they say in England, drawing himself a bath and forgot about it. He was doing something Mr. Beanish in another room, and the tub overflowed. Well, he happened to be right above the studio where they were shooting.
Oh, so great.
Water fell into the studio and shorted out all of the equipment. So then they had to wait until they got new equipment. But since he's such a huge star, they just let it go. So this is the lovely Angelica Houston. The witches were shapeshifters. So sometimes they look like normal women, like she does, and sometimes they look like this. That's Angelica Houston right there.
Oh my God!
For those of you who aren't watching us on YouTube, that's probably the best, and by that I mean worst and ugliest looking witch I've ever seen. So that's what they want you to dress up as if you would like to be the Grand High Witch at the Headland Hotel. This is the kind of thing, if you need tips, because they work on tips, I think it's another $13 an hour job plus tips. So what I would do if this were me, I would sit down at a table and demand money to leave. You know, otherwise I'm sitting here ruining your teeth. That is one ugly witch. And the other thing you have to do is you have to learn the sayings that the witch said. And the sayings are wonderful. Here's 3 of them from the movie. A stupid witch who answers back must burn until her bones are black. That's a good witchy thing. A foolish witch without a brain must sizzle into fire and flame. A witch who dares to say I'm wrong will not be with us very long. Longer, you got to think a minute before you say that. But the best one, if you get angry if you're sitting at tea and some little kid is screaming and yelling and throwing cookies and whatever else kids do to disrupt the tea, you say this: mindless bumpkin, you blithering bog vumper. Now that I have no idea what any of that means, but apparently it scares the heck out of little kids. So in fact, that's what the movie was about. The movie was about these witches they put a magic potion in candy and filled the candy stores with this stuff. And when the kids ate it, they turned into mice. And that's the plot of the movie. So sorry to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. I have a feeling if you're a fan of this movie, you've seen it already. Okay, so that's our witch story. Now, what else do we do on this show occasionally? We give dating advice. I know Karen always loves this, especially with the ladies who date ghosts, which none of us can really understand, but that's beside the point. So we don't talk much about guys with weird dating habits. So this is one here, Karen. His name is Yuri Tolachko. And Yuri Tolachko is famous in Kazakhstan as a bodybuilder, but he's also famous as a pansexual. And that means that he doesn't care, even if you're of the human species, any kind of object will do for romantic interludes. So his first romantic interlude, and he married this particular object, was a very lovely life-size sex doll. And I have a picture of her. Don't worry, she has clothes on. She's in her wedding gown. And this made the news. I think I'm sure we must have talked about this. He made a big deal out of it, huge wedding. Pictures of them on the beach. He's this big bodybuilder and she's this plastic life-size Barbie. But so this just happened, I think maybe a year or two ago. He's already gotten tired of her. So he's moved on. He's moved away from sex dolls to get ready for this, an ashtray. He went to a and if you can't, he's an unusual bodybuilder. For those of you who can't see the picture, in that he doesn't shave his body. So he's a very muscular guy with a whole lot of hair, except on his head. So he goes to a club one night and he sees an ashtray, that not a new ashtray either, but a cougar ashtray, I guess would be the proper term for it. And he fell in love with it. He's on the floor with the ashtray in this particular photo. And the only thing I can think of is that he saw the ashtray and he saw that it had a nice butt and said,
"Oh, oh."
So anyways,
all right.
Of course. So he says, here's a quote. He said, "At first I just arranged the photo shoot, which I must be this, with the ashtray. But then it began to attract me. I wanted to touch it, smell it. I loved its brutal scent, the touch of metal to my skin. It's really brutal. I also liked that it had a story." I don't know what the story is, but he says, "It's not new. It has served many people and continues to serve them," which I wouldn't say about the lovely Donna or anybody of the female persuasion. They served a lot of people.
Oh my God.
So where do these people come from? Kazakhstan, that's where he comes from. So, but and this is where we fit in, because we can be part of the story. She doesn't, I call her she. I'm not sure if this ashtray is a she or not, but I'll say she is. She doesn't have a name. So we need to come up with a name for her. And then we can get in on the story as well. Maybe we can do a remote from Kazakhstan. So I have a couple that are related to the fact that she's an ashtray. One was Virginia Slim,
Okay.
Virginia, or to a little play off what she is, Ash K. How about that? Not bad, huh? And
Mhm.
then, or he would, now this one requires him to change his name to Benson. And if his name is Benson, then they can be a couple, Benson and Hetty.
Yeah. Oh.
How about that? And if they live to be centurions, they can be Benson and Hetty 100. That's an old reference for you kids.
Yes, it is.
Out there.
Sure.
Somewhere around 40 years ago, there was a line of cigarettes called Benson and Hedges 100. 100, what were they? Millimeters? Is that? I guess that would be
Millimeters.
right. Millimeters.
I thought.
Okay. So now one for the pet owners out there. A bird researcher I'm going to leave this up for a second because I have to.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate it.
I know you do. I'll get through this quickly. This comes from Australia. A bird researcher in Australia at Deakin University. She says climate change is causing birds to shapeshift. And by that, she means that they're evolving very, very quickly to develop larger beaks, legs, and ears to help regulate their body temperatures as the planet gets hotter. So they have bigger beaks, bigger ears, bigger noses, because they can't deal with the heat. So I found this out that if you have a parakeet, and this happened to my parakeet, and you wake up one day and the parakeet looks like this, it's already too late.
Whoa.
We're gone. Yeah, this is what my parakeet shapeshifted into, a pterodactyl. I think I must have had the heat on too high that night. But yeah, so that's what they're saying, is that the climate change is affecting the animals. I thought we weren't supposed to have bad news. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
We'll edit that out. Okay, this one comes from poor New Orleans. Send it to people who have had to live through the latest hurricane, which seemed to do more damage to New Jersey than New Orleans. But in New Orleans, after the hurricane, something really strange happened. A blob appeared, and I've got some pictures of this blob. This is outside. This is in a parking lot, and it's a garbage dump. And there's this giant white blob growing inside the garbage bin behind whatever this building is, to the point where it's overflowing and it's trying to crawl out, and part of the blob is on the driveway, on the parking lot. Any idea what that might be?
No idea.
Let's see. I think I have a closer picture here. There you go. There's a close-up of the blob. It seems to have been retracted into the bin, but the blob that's on the ground is expanding. This is no one knows what this is. I'll go on to the next one here. And oh, that's not it. This is pizza dough. The building over there is a Domino's pizza.
Oh my gosh.
And someone as they were preparing for the hurricane, took all the pizza dough that was there because they were afraid it was going to spoil, and they just dumped it into the bin and ran off into the to a dry land. And the heat got to it in the water, and it rose until it it expanded and crawled out of the garbage bin. So I think we need to do a movie about this Domino's blob called The Dominator. Takes over the world, the kind of stuff that blobs do. We'll fill in the details later, but we have a title. That's the important thing. So I slipped in a picture. I have another animal here. This next animal comes from Australia, and this is an Australian musk duck, which is very difficult. That would be a great tongue twister. Musk duck, because of how it smells. Yeah, but this is one of the weirdest looking birds in the world. It has it's a duck, but it's kind of blackish grayish, and it has like a turkey waddle hanging from its bill, and the bill is the same color. Everything's the same color. This mottled grayish. But that's not what's unusual about this story. What's unusual is not this particular bird, but another musk duck named Ripper. became the first duck in history to speak in a human voice. And it says, it's not very pleasant, although I think we can say it in the blog. It says in a human voice, "You bloody fool." So apparently it was probably someone from England who had it, saw it in a pond and said, "I'm going to teach this duck how to talk," and stood there for a week or so yelling that until the duck could speak. Sounds daffy to me, doesn't it?
Oh, that was good.
There's a segue into my favorite duck, Daffy Duck. Everybody remembers Daffy Duck, right? From
Yes.
Warner Brothers cartoons. There's Daffy Duck in his first appearance in a Warner Brothers cartoon. That is called that cartoon was called Porky's Duck Hunt. So the star at that time was Porky Pig, and Daffy was the brand new character that they were kind of slipping in. You know, like how Mork was on Happy Days, and then he got his own show. Directed by Tex Avery, the greatest director in old cartoon history. So that Daffy eventually evolved into the one we all know and love, which is this guy right here. Always looked the same, you know. He's a black duck, just like the one we were looking at, but an orange bill and orange feet. Voiced by the famous, and now I can't remember.
Mel Brooks. No.
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc. Yeah,
that's right. And who did it for 52 years? He did that voice for that lisp for 52 years. So I happen to have my favorite Daffy Duck image right here. This was when Daffy Duck impersonated Carmen Miranda. And I don't remember what cartoon that one was from, but I thought that's the most hilarious picture of Daffy Duck I've ever seen. That just shows you how Daffy Duck was. Carmen Miranda. How about that? Okay, so before the show, we're of that age where we were discussing medical issues. And everybody complains about medical bills, no matter what kind of insurance you have, whether you've got Medicare or you got the best insurance there is. Eventually you get hit with one of those bills that you just cannot believe. So this guy, is an engineer. He's in the United States. I don't remember what state he's in. His name is William Osman. So William went into the hospital to have some x-rays taken. And when he checks out, they handed him a bill for his x-rays, $70,000 for x-rays. So he decided, since he's an engineer, he's going to build his own home x-ray machine. And I think I have there you go. There's his home.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Actually works. The picture shows his hand, an x-ray photograph of his hand. All it is, for those of you who can't see it, is a cardboard box. I think he spent the most expensive part was $155 for an x-ray vacuum tube that he got from a broken dental x-ray machine that he bought. So that was a working x-ray component. He's got what else? A giant roll of lead, sheet lead, which you need to protect yourself, I guess. Geiger counters. The Geiger counters are up there, so I guess he knows when the radiation gets too high. And an electrical supply capable of delivering 60,000 volts. So this is, kids don't try this at home.
No, please.
But it worked. You can see he took an actual picture of his hand and on his home x-ray machine. So my thought is I'm turning this into a movie called The Incredible Glowing Man, because I'm sure the next time he does it, something's going to go wrong, and he'll see him come running down the street, glowing in blue, and turns into some superhero, or and fights Wolfman and Spider-Man and Batman and all those guys. So we'll get all them lined up. Wouldn't this be great? We could do a show while we're shooting the movie with all those superheroes.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, whatever happened to the payment? Did he have to make the payment of $70,000?
Of course, John. Well, no, I'm sure he negotiated it down to something more reasonable, like 40,000 or either that. If it were me, and that's a good question. If it were me, I'd take this thing down to the hospital, this x-ray machine, and I'd say, look, I did this for $200. How about if I pay off my bill by doing x-rays for you in my machine.
Sounds good.
Or
Yep.
pay me to go away. one or the other. So I don't know, you know, people do, you know, the people are locked up like with COVID. They're coming up with new and interesting things to do. Now, John, one of the all-time heroes of the Italians is Michelangelo, not the baker, by the way, but the painter. So do you have any idea how tall Michelangelo was? You know, he was as they say, a giant in the art world. But how tall was he?
You know, I can't really hazard a guess, Paul. I'm not really sure of that.
Karen, you have a guess there?
I have a feeling he was short.
Yeah, good guess. Good guess. So they found some leather shoes and slippers that belonged to Michelangelo. So they measured them and then they tried to figure out how tall he would have been to fit in these little tiny shoes. And they estimated that he was only 5 feet 2 inches tall, 1.6 meters. And I've got a picture that, you know, here he is. He used to paint ceilings. Okay, 5 feet 2 inches tall. I have a picture of Michelangelo painting a ceiling. Whoops. Painting a ceiling. There he is right there. He's got a roller on like 4 different 4 poles to duct tape together so he can reach the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Luckily, one of his friends, you know, Bobolangelo, I guess was his name, invented scaffolding, and the rest is history. He got up up to the top of the Sistine Chapel, and he could lay on his back and paint in his little tiny shoes, and everybody was happy.
Okay, if you say so.
All right, Karen, I know you've been waiting to hear about the skunks that do handstands. So there's a picture of one of these skunks, and the skunk. I'll ask the two of you to verify. Is that skunk doing a handstand?
Yes, he is.
Yes. This is in the United States. Believe it or not, I've never seen one of these, but apparently they're all over the United States. They're called spotted skunks, and their main characteristic, other than doing headstand, is that's how they spray people or dogs or whatever it is that they plan to spray. So in order to shoot their potentness at you, they hop on their front paws, stick their tail in their rear and their emitter, that's a technical term, and at you and shoot the stuff. Why isn't this on America's Got Talent? That's what I want to know. Because that's just, let me show you another picture of another cuter one over here.
Oh,
Isn't that, look at, he's making a face and he's
Yeah.
getting to flip around and shoot you with it. So these spotted skunks are, they're actually striped. You can see a little better here, but their stripes go in all weird directions and the stripes are kind of broken up. So that's why they call them spotted. But they actually have been found all around the United States, not in big numbers. And so if you're lucky enough to see one, annoy it so you can see it.
I don't think so. I think I'll go in the opposite direction.
Then run like heck. That's right. Run like heck in the opposite direction.
That's a good idea.
And if you're running, go to Benson, Utah. And I know John's been waiting for this. In Benson, Utah, they're raising money for a poor Bigfoot who lost his head. Now, I happen to have a picture of this Bigfoot before he lost his head. There he is right there, John. That is probably the clearest picture I have ever shown of a Bigfoot. And for those of you who can't see it, this particular Bigfoot was getting ready to go to the beach on Great Salt Lake, apparently in Utah. He's got a surfboard. He's got his flowered swim trunks on. He's got a lei around his neck. He's got sunglasses on and a visor hat on his head, ready to go to the beach. Now, this Bigfoot is the pet of a family who plants him around Benton. They like to surprise people, and they'll put him in front of stores, or they'll have him holding a sign to point to a fair or something like this. So he's beloved. He's a beloved Bigfoot in the city of Benson, Utah, until one day someone did this to him. They chopped his head off. That's his lovely owner right there. Broke his surfboard too. Look at that, John. Isn't that terrible?
Terrible.
This shouldn't be happening in America.
No, it shouldn't.
So the town they're doing a fundraiser. They're doing one of these GoFundMe's to raise money to repair Bigfoot, or hopefully whoever cut the head off will bring the head back. And the lady was pretty funny. She says, the owner, she says, at first I thought somebody had blown his head off with a shotgun, which tells you a lot about Utah. After further investigation, they think he used he or she, probably a he. What woman would cut the head off a Bigfoot? Looked like they used a power tool, maybe a reciprocating saw. So they really studied this carefully. And she says they didn't need to cut the head off because the head was just duct taped on.
Oh, geez.
Boy.
So they could have just pulled it off. I think they were in a hurry not to get caught. That's what she said. So if you look anything like Bigfoot, don't go to Benson, Utah, because you might get hit by somebody with a reciprocating saw. I don't get it. All right, so let's move on to space travel for a second here. This is, as I say, sometimes we go way out of this world into the other worlds, and this time we're going into space. A team of scientists from the Austrian Space Forum and the Vienna Textile Lab, that gives you a hint of where we're going here. They're developing the next generation of astronaut underwear. And I think we talked about this on the show before, that astronauts are forced to wear their underwear for long periods of time because there's no washing machine on the International Space Station. And just think, when they go to Mars, they could be in that ship for a month or longer. So they're trying to make underwear for the astronauts that will stink less, I guess would be the technical for it.
The odor free.
There you go. Yeah. So they want them to throw it away less frequently while still promoting good hygiene. Only in space does it mean when someone asks you how many stripes you have, it's not a question about your rank. I know you have to think about that.
Yeah.
While we're talking about butts, let me go on to the airship that looks like a butt. You're not this world's largest aircraft ship, Airlander 10, and it looks like I can't describe it. I'm just this is how it looks as it's landing, okay, which doesn't look so bad from the rear. So, which gives you a hint that the butt is in the front, which is why they call it butt face. I believe. So there's a picture of the airship. Does that look like a flying butt to you, Karen?
Yes, it does. Yes.
They plan to use it to fly to the North Pole to recreate the historical exposition that Norwegian explorers took in 1926. So they're actually charging people for tickets to get on this flying butt and fly over the North Pole. The biggest problem that they're having is with travel agents, because travel agents just refuse to call it the Airlander 10. They keep coming up with names for it, like the Titanic Tush, the Boeing Butt, or my personal favorite, based on one of our famous airlines, the Frontier Fanny. Who's going to buy tickets for that? Yeah, oh yeah, we're taking the Frontier Fanny to the North Pole. I don't think so. So my last story before we get to sport, there's a trend here. There's a weird trend here to the show today, and this has to do with space as well. There's another billionaire going into. This one's not going into space. His name is Mark Lohr. Made his money at Walmart. So there's a hint to where this story is going. Billionaire. Took his money out of Walmart, and now he wants to build the state-of-the-art city, a 5 million person city in the middle of a desert. And he's picked some deserts in Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and Texas, where he's going to build this, next generation city. And my fear, it sounds like a noble cause. It's no one will be 15 minutes away from their work, from their church, from their local bar, from the school, from anything. He wants it to be a beautiful, walkable city. He's got all these great dreams. My fear is that all those years of working at Walmart have jaded him. And what's going to happen is these 5 million people will spend a few minutes in this city, and they'll start to, there's the giant flying butt again. They'll start to look like this guy. who is typical Walmart shopper here. It Walmart is famous. The internet has more pictures of people who dress really weird. This guy looks like swim trunks on and a shirt that barely covers his man boobs. And if that's not enough, it'll be somebody like this guy who is walking in his bib overalls with nothing on underneath the bib. I'll let you use your imagination on that one. And even worse, it'll be like this guy here, who apparently.
No, that's a woman.
Yep. Oh, that is a woman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies if she's watching the show.
Oh my God.
She has some sort of pink mohawk and a weird top, and her dress is slit, and her bandana is around her leg for some reason. This is what that 5 million person city is going to end up looking like, unless we stop it, and maybe showing it on What in the World will stop it. I don't know. But anyway, so on that note, we better get to something that is less weird. And whenever I say that, we go into What in the World of Sports, and it's always more weird than you ever could think of. And as always, I asked my old buddy John to go looking through the world of sport to find something that's weird, and maybe, just maybe, that the three of us could participate in someday, maybe at a picnic or something, or to get into shape. We'd all like to get into better shape. So John always manages to find the weird part. Whether we're going to participate in this sport, I don't know. John, why don't you tell us what our sport is for this week?
I'll be happy to, Paul and Karen.
I knew you would.
Our sport this week is bubble soccer.
Did you get that, Karen?
Bubble soccer.
Let your imagination run wild for a second there.
Hey, can you take this lady down?
I am. I'm going to put
thank
up
you.
a
I
picture of
appreciate
bubble
it.
soccer. Yeah. There you
go. Okay. Alrighty. So bubble soccer, or bubble football, is a growing competitive sport that is being played all over the world.
Over the world, Karen.
It is now played in Australia, Austria, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, and right here in the good old United States.
Hard to believe. I've never seen this sport. I'm going to describe the picture here real quickly, and I think John's going to get a little more detail. But basically, everyone on the soccer field is inside of a giant inflated bubble. Yes. There you go. Yep. Plastic bubble. And it's clear so they can see where they're going.
That's correct. So bubble soccer basically follows the rules of soccer, except for one minor detail. As Paul just mentioned, in bubble soccer, the player has his or her upper body and torso enclosed in a giant air-filled bubble.
His or her, Karen. Did you get that?
I got that. Yeah.
Okay.
This unique feature makes for some interesting videos and harmless fun.
I have some videos, so stick around.
Okay.
Harmless fun. Harmless fun?
Yeah, I would say so.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
wait, Karen, it gets worse.
The object
these are people falling over in their bubble.
Now, the object of the game is simple. Kick the soccer ball into the opponent's goal to score 1 point. On the field of play, a bubble soccer referee is the only person in the game able to use their hands. So they must run and retrieve the ball when it leaves the playing field. Thankfully, bubble soccer eliminates one of the most frustrating rules in the sport of soccer, and that is the offsides penalty. There is no such thing as an offside penalty in bubble soccer.
It's got to be hard enough to run in a straight line in those things, let alone stay inside the lines.
And also, the urge to do damage while a player is in a giant inflatable bubble is great. So this sport comes down with several specific rules. And these are the rules that prohibit these actions. No kicking of opponents, no tripping of an opponent, no touching players who are on the ground, and no questioning of the officials in any way. And that last one is the key one because the officials or referees do not like to be challenged in this sport. So
all they need to do, John,
too bad.
they need to carry a pin, and it's you start once you start messing with the referee, they just stick a pin right in that bubble, and you're out of the game.
That's right. It'll deflate you, so to speak.
There you go. There you go. And if it's raining, they can play this game indoors. I have a picture up here of a bubble soccer match being played in a gymnasium. So how about that?
Okay. Now, a typical match will consist of two 45-minute halves with a 20-minute intermission. In the result of a tie score at the end of regulation play, a sudden death overtime takes in which the first team to score is declared the winner. The game ball,
okay,
sudden death. The game ball used in the competition is a regulation size 5 soccer ball, which is the most prevalent soccer ball out there, played by used by people in schools and professional soccer as well.
I can't imagine professional soccer players doing this. I have a little video up here where it almost seems like the players are having more fun just bouncing into each other than actually chasing the ball, which I have a feeling is what happens in these tournaments.
Sure. So anyway, a regulation bubble soccer field, for those who are interested, is a 60 by 40 yard playing field with a goal area of 36 by 12 yards. And the designated penalty spot, for a kick, is 24 feet from the middle of the goal. So if there's an infraction and there's a penalty kick, that person lines it up, and it's going to be 24 feet away from the middle of the goal.
Okay.
Okay.
This video here, I think these people are practicing. I don't think they're actually playing.
No, I don't think so.
So with a little bit of history, okay.
The sport. Oh yeah. So who came? This had to be something that some people at a bar came up with.
Well, I don't think so, Paul. In this case, no. It originated in 2011 on the Norwegian television show Golden Glow. Golden Goal.
Oh, one of my favorites.
It was the first time it was shown, and again, it got some traction from there. In 2013, ex-professional soccer player Dan Chillingworth saw the sport's potential for the United Kingdom's market. He set up what is called extreme events, and that brought bubble soccer to all the countries of the UK. So all the countries of the UK are participating in this sport. The Bubble Soccer World Cup tournament has taken place in May, and the finals are played at Wembley Stadium. So
wow,
hallowed ground where the finals take place.
World Cup of Bubble Soccer.
Right. Now, typically, 12 international teams compete in the World Cup competition, and the most notable are Brazil, Finland, Germany, Ireland, Scotland, and South Africa.
You just know that Brazil would be good at this.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
Now, Neville Nadia, who is the head of business development for Extreme Events, says over 55,000 people play bubble soccer throughout the UK each year, and they have hosted and refereed thousands of matches, and they can testify that there is some genuine sporting talent out there just waiting to be unearthed. So again, they're talking about the
what
future.
Do they look for, John? Do they look for soccer players who like to bounce themselves, or do they like bouncers who like to play soccer?
I think it's more the soccer players who like to bounce. Here in the U.S. currently ranks as the biggest proponent of bubble soccer, boasting 39 different leagues, each with 8 to 12 teams competing.
That's amazing. I went looking to see if I could find any bubble soccer team. There was a reference at some gym in Cincinnati, but there wasn't enough information that.
Okay.
But apparently, it's a big thing in the United States.
It's growing sport. Yeah, it's slowly but surely it's growing. It's becoming more popular as time goes on. So, in summary, all in all, bubble soccer is just a flat out fun time. Just think about it. You won't get hurt playing. It is beyond a satisfying workout. And who doesn't want to go crashing into each other in a giant blown up air bubble? I think it's for everyone, if you ask me.
I've been running this little clip over and over again of two guys having much more fun bouncing into each other than actually chasing after the ball. Well, right. As I promised when we were off the air, I actually, believe it or not, we've held a little back here because John and I have played this sport. And I found a video of us playing. Now, John and I have known each other for a long time. I'm sure that this was probably when we were in college and after a few kegs of beer. Um, and this is John and I playing bubble soccer here. There you go. So we're just disappear right under that ball.
Yep. Love it.
That's pretty scary, Karen. I can't. That's obviously not a regulation bubble ball, right, John?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right. Well, once again, John has come up with quite possibly the strangest, at least the strangest variation of soccer that we've heard on What in the World of Sports. So thanks, John, for that color commentary and
You're welcome, Paul.
great info on. And in fact, it should be called bubble football, right? Because everyone,
some people call it bubble football.
Yeah,
football is the more throughout the world is recognized as opposed to soccer.
Looks like fun to me.
Yeah, the only football we care about is happening on Sunday when the Cleveland Browns play some team from Kansas City. I'll get that plug in there. I know I'll be hearing from. I do have some friends in Kansas City. I know I'll be hearing from them this week.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Let's hope something good happens. But something good is going to happen right now because, as always, at the end of What in the World of Sports, we play Bluff the co-host.
All right.
There we go. 3 horns for Bluff the co-host, which is everybody's favorite weird news game. If you haven't played before, it's really very simple. I have 3 stories similar to the ones that we've been telling all afternoon, with the one difference, and that difference is that unlike the ones all afternoon, some of these may be bluffs, and it's up to Karen and John to decide if 1, 2, or 3 are real or bluffs. You can play at home. You can wager at home. It's okay for kids. Nothing, no flying butts. I don't think so. No, there's no flying butts in anything. So, John and Karen, hand on your buzzer and let's get started.
Okay, ready.
The news from Red Square in Moscow is that Joseph Stalin and Vladimir Lenin, who didn't get along well when they were alive, still don't get along today. Actors impersonating the 2 Russian leaders had to be pulled tourists after they came to blows over a very non-honest subject. It seems Lenin accused Stalin of violating his contract and working with a different Lenin on Red Square, where these combos are as popular as Elmo and the Naked Cowboy on New York's Times Square. Stalin denied cheating on him and whacked Lenin right in the old borscht belt with his umbrella. Fortunately, unlike in real life, cooler heads prevailed and Lenin and Stalin are friends again.
Oh, sorry.
So the story of Lenin and Stalin impersonators getting into a big hoo-ha at Red Square in Moscow over money. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
It sounds so weird. It has to be true. So I'm going to say true.
There you go. Karen's philosophy. It's so weird it has to be true. All right. One for that's a real for Karen. How about you, John?
I have to agree with Karen on this, and I'm going to say exactly the same thing. It is so weird of a story. It's got to be a true story.
Are you saying Russians are weird?
Well, at least these participants at Red Square are.
Yeah.
Well, let's check with the judges, and the judges say 1 point for each of you. That's a real story.
Yeah.
How about that?
Good to go, Karen. All right.
big fight over money in good old communist Red Square. Okay, so 1-1. Let's go right into story number 2. Speaking of New York, a deli in the Bronx is offering customers a way to add to their bellies without subtracting from their wallets. If a customer can answer a math question the owner asks them in 5 seconds, they can choose one item from the menu for free. He says he's just trying to help out people who can't pay while giving those that can a chance to show how much or little they remember from math class in school. The questions are usually simple arithmetic problems like, what is 12 times 12 plus 50? For a free Reuben, the answer in under 5 seconds is 194. However, one smart kid in the neighborhood has been computing the store blind. So the owner now has a special set of differential equations to make the kid pay for his liverwurst on rye. So, John, the deli in New York that gives away free sandwiches to anyone who can answer a semi-difficult math question in under 5 seconds. Real or bluff?
Oh, I'm going to say it's real. I can imagine that taking place in the Bronx. I'm going to say.
Could you answer a question in 5 seconds for a free Reuben?
I would do it in a moment.
Okay, so that's a definite yes from John. That's a definite real. How about you, Karen? You've been in a few delis in your life.
I've been in a few. You got it. And I can see. Yeah, I'm going to say true.
For a lox and bagel, you would answer a math question, and you think this is a real
good
story.
corned beef sandwich.
Or corned beef, pastrami, you name it.
Yep.
I would do that too, and I majored in math, so I'm sure I'd clean him out. If he's real, let's check with the judges. The score is now tied 2-2.
Yay!
Both of you were correct once again. That was a real story. I want to go to this place. Okay, so points are doubled in round number 3, but this is, boy, we were neck and neck right here. So let's get right to it. Story number 3. Although this sounds like a Florida story, it actually comes from Colorado, where a man who was tired of all the unfixed potholes in Denver took matters into his own hands and started filling them himself with fully grown marijuana plants, which are legal to grow in Colorado, thus turning the holes into a new kind of pothole.
Oh.
Needless to say, these potholes stop traffic in a whole different way as cars pull up to look at them or pick off a few leaves to dry and smoke at home. The man estimated he has created over 100 potholes before the Denver Roads Department finally identified him and ordered him to stop in return for promising that they would fill the holes the following day, assuming he told them where they were. Since he can't use the pot anymore, and some people call them chuck holes, he's thinking about filling them with burgers made with local ground chuck. Okay, so the guy who plants pot in potholes and makes them potholes in order to call attention to the big problem in Denver. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
Well, I wish I had come up with it because, as you know, there is a stretch on Route 82 in your city, not in mine.
That's correct.
It's better in my city.
Beautiful
and that'd be a good thing to do there because it's all full of potholes, but I think it's false.
What would you do if you found one of those potholes?
I probably would enjoy it a little bit.
You wouldn't complain to the mayor like you do about the regular potholes.
I complain about the real ones.
Okay, so Karen says it's a bluff. John, how about you?
I'm going to say it's a bluff too. I just think it's too weird of a story. It's
this is Colorado. You've been to Colorado. They were weird before they started smoking legal marijuana.
And that's true, but I'm going to say this is a bluff, though. I think it's
one last chance to change your mind, John.
No, I'm sticking to my guns. That's my story, and I'm sticking.
John's sticking to his gun, so to speak. Karen, is a bluff as well? Let's check with the judges. Holy smokes! 3 in a row. You both.
Oh, very good, Karen.
Everybody got them correct. Wow.
You're perfect today. That's all right.
I love that.
Oh boy, the story writer has to do some more work this next week because that doesn't happen too often. So good for you, both of you. Congratulations to both. Congratulations to anybody who's listening on the podcast, either on YouTube or on Apple Plus or whatever the Apple thing is, iTunes, or whatever platform you're on. Come to nuclearradio.net. Click on my name. You'll see how to download What in the World, or watch us on YouTube. Like us, friend us, follow us, whatever it is you're supposed to do, so we know you're watching. Like me on Facebook. Send us some comments if you so desire, and please come back again. And while you're at nuclearradio.net, please look at some of the other podcasts. Karen has a load of great podcasts there for everything, every topic imaginable, music, therapy, you name it, it's there, and it's a lot of fun. Relationships, Scrabble,
yeah.
Boy, you can't find that anyplace else but on nuclearradio.net. To my old friend John, thanks again. Good seeing you this week. Thanks for that
How you
weird
doing,
support.
Paul? And Karen,
And
good to see
Karen,
you too.
as always, our co-host and producer, thank you for everything you do for us and for newclevelandradio.net. We will be back on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Is
We
that
will
right?
be.
Next week?
Yep.
Okay, so you can
Have a
tune in
great
live,
week.
tune in the future.
Have
We'll
a
see you
great
then.
day, everybody.